number of their
I
records.
just see all the letters drawn on a chord keyboard. You know, so you get the right thing there. Sorry, it's an in-joke.
XTC doing generals and majors, and as you hear, Andy Partridge, Colin Moulding, and Dave Gregory have joined me here in the studios for a live acoustic set.
It's a fake. I deny it. We're the XTC Mania, the touring band that looks like them.
This is the Spinal Tap version of XTC.
Yeah, we're Klaatu incarnate here. I admit.
But they're here on the. They've released their 9th album, which is proving to be the most successful album of their career. The album Oranges and Lemons.
What did we do wrong?
I don't know.
It's shocking.
Everything seems to be going not the way that it usually goes in a professional, the way rock and roll bands do, but you guys are succeeding.
There's going to be Dave Gregory dolls next, and there's going to be Colin's head on the money and stuff like that. You know, you'll be just under the little pyramid there, grinning out.
There isn't already?
Well, how do you guys justify the fact that you've got all this critical acclaim? You've been together for a long time, about 12 years. You've have fairly stable personnel, and you've managed all this success in a very unconventional way.
Well, not to sound like a complete masturbator, we do like to please ourselves, and as long as you're sort of still pleasing yourself with what you do, then you can weather all the storms, mate. You know, I think that you just have to be in it to do what you want to do, and blow the rest. I think the expression is in this neck of the woods. Yeah, you just got to do what you feel and enjoy yourself. Don't let the pressure get to you.
How have your ideas for making records changed from those early the White Noise and Go-To records to the current one, Oranges and Lemons?
White music, old man. A bit of a faux pas there.
Oh, okay.
Yes, well, they've changed in as much as we don't feel restricted into having to... I think Black Sea, which was the last of the kind of albums made so it could be wheeled out onto the road and sound no different. I mean, that's what we used to do. We used to make records that you could take out on the road, and they sounded the same. 2 guitars, bass and drums, nothing tricky to sing, you know, nothing like harmonies. God forbid, no. You know, we had to be able to do it live, and it was kind of putting the blinkers on the music. And as soon as the idea came to my 1K brain that, we don't have to tour if we don't want to, and suddenly the music seemed to get a lot better, you know. Technicaler, even.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about the fact that you don't tour, but I'd like to let you guys play some of your music right now, if you would.
We have to. Yeah.
But
we came to the station, they took our guitars away and gave us these ludicrous kind of cigar boxes with rubber bands on and said, "They are smart ass, play that." So here we go. Well, look, we're going to tease you with a handful of bum notes and forgotten lyrics, and the competition is to find an XTC song in there somewhere. So it's a little tune called Scarecrow, people. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hope you enjoyed your flight in one of our new straw aeroplanes. You'll find things here just like what you used to. There's lots of waste and razor wire, and no one gives a damn about the land. We just stand around and stare like you folks do. For we ain't got no brains and we ain't got no hearts. It's just that wild wind that tears us all apart. We're the scarecrow people. We got lots in common with you. And if you don't start living well, you're all gonna wind up scarecrow people. I too. I hope you enjoyed your meal. It's only gas and chemicals. Thought that you'd prefer something not nature made. Now while you're here, can you advise us on a war we'd love to start against some scarecrows over there, a different shade? For we ain't got no brains and we ain't got no hearts. It's just that wild wind that tears us all apart. We're the scarecrow people. We got lots in common with you. And if you don't start living well, you're all gonna wind up scarecrow people too. Listen, we don't have no teeth. tears here. No one hopes or cares or fears here for the old, the sick, the poor. And then what? Taint you. We thought we best our civilization upon yours, 'cause you're the smartest animals on earth. Now ain't you? We don't have no love here. There's no need to rise above you. No one wants to write that book or try to paint thee. We thought we'd pass our civilization up on yours, 'cause we're all dead from our necks up. Now ain't we? And we ain't got no brains, and we ain't got no hearts. It's just that wild wind that tears us all apart. We're the scarecrow people. We got lots in common with you. And if you don't start living well, you're all gonna wind up scarecrow people. I ain't got no brains, and I ain't got no hearts to sell other humans, tear my soul apart. I'm a scarecrow person. Hey, have I got quite some message for you? If you don't start living well, you're all gonna die like scarecrow people too.
Great. XTC in the studio live.
Well, I'm indebted to the radio station for supplying a chair with wheels on, and I can fade myself out at the end there by working backwards from the microphone.
Now, that song, does that appear on an album, or is that just
That's lurking on side 19. No, it's lurking on side 2 of Oranges and Lemons.
Oh, okay.
So,
You mentioned
polish your stylus up for that one, folks.
You mentioned in a recent article that all of you enjoy the Wizard of Oz, and that you've taken on your personalities, take on some of the personas of the characters. And,
Yeah, you know, I like to trap wildebeest and pull them savagely down to the ground and, you know, maul passing children near the cage. I'm going to have that biogrwriter skinned, actually.
You are.
I just happened to mention it to the biogrwriter just in passing that we weren't too dissimilar to the three characters in the Wizard of Oz. And this Herbert out in Los Angeles decides to take on his own shoulders. Yes, I see it now. They based the entire album. It's a concept on the Wizard of Oz. It's I think we say bollocks in England. So it's wrong. That means
Bollocks
it's
goes over
wrong.
the radio here. The translation in English, I think, would not. So
It means little round thing. It was an ornamental term used heavily in architecture.
Well, do we have another selection that you could favor us with at this time?
Well, we thought we'd play you a few, you know, oldies but moldings, and our fault.
Does this mean you've written them, Colin? or-
Is that one too often?
I have too many times. Yeah. Well, look. I mean, you know, get your matches out at home, and you can join in with this one if you like. You can hear the crackling from here, can't you?
Especially for Chicago.
Yes, totally live and useless. Here they are, their true colors. Great fire burning, you supplied the spark. Fire's burning, spreading through the ark. Cannibals are panicking. I'm animal and panicking. Oh, your glass a match on the tinder wood. You never spoke, but I understood. Bring water, ice, bring water. Great fire burning
together. There's a lesson to be learned. Many fingers have been burned with the touch of your love can come and love can go. What's your chances? I don't know. But if you have love, then let it show. Like on the big day, the big day, big day. Whoa.
All right. XTC live in the studio here at WXRT, and why don't you...
Hitler.
what?
Crosby, Stills, and Hitler.
Elvis Hitler. Have you heard Elvis Hitler yet?
No, I haven't. But I've seen the poster. I've seen the poster of the Book of the Ironing Board of the...
They do a wonderful combination of the Green Acres TV theme song with Jimi Hendrix's Purple Haze.
That's great.
Why don't you guys relax for a little bit? I have to do this bit of announcement, and we'll get back to talking and hearing you play more songs. We'd like to thank
A little muddly the way we play.
the Mudley. Well, it sounded fine to these ears, and the people that are standing around listening, I think, would agree. But Dear God has certainly been your most controversial song to date. It was originally left off the American release. Was that the band's decision or the record company's decision?
It was, yeah, some pervert who recommended we got a sharp knife and cut out that rim on the album. No, it was my decision initially, or my idea initially, that seeing as it had been such a kind of burning desire to write a song about that subject, religion, and it's such a massive subject, I thought that the song I'd written, when all was said and done, was not... how shall I say? I didn't get over all I wanted to express, because it's like the biggest subject I can think about is mankind's belief in the world and who supposedly put it there and who controls it, blah blah, where they're going afterwards. And I wanted to write a song about that for many years, and I thought that when it was finished that I hadn't put all my thoughts into it. How the hell do you précis that kind of thing in 3.5 minutes? It's the sort of thing that you could fill up a 12-album box set with and still not have even scratched the surface.
But it did cause quite a stir. Were you
Well, it eventually
surprised?
snuck out
Yeah.
on a B-side, a backside of a record, of a single, and stations started to play it, and it's 50-50. People started ringing up and saying, "Great stuff, play it again," or "If you don't take that off the air, I'm going to bring my chainsaw in and correct your studio." So yes, we were selling lots of copies so people could burn it. I think of going into the barbecue charcoal world, buy XTC's album for that slow burn.
Did you get any reaction from the fundamentalists like Jimmy Swaggart types holding up XTC records and telling people to burn
Well,
them?
if we did, we didn't get to hear about it. Got plenty of mail, hate mail from loving Christians. Yes, loving and forgiveness, our Christian pals. So plenty of weirdo kind of mail. It still comes in now, people send all their pamphlets in, the Mormons and the Seventh-day Adventists and Church of Christ Plumber, whatever group they belong to. But I don't need my soul saving.
Before you recorded the Skylarking record, the band's career was kind of, I wouldn't say on the skids, but you guys were a little bit kind of not floundering. What's the proper word? You weren't
on the
touring?
skids, I think.
Yeah, is that the proper
Yeah,
word?
on
I
the
wanted to
skids.
be tamer, I suppose. But
Well, it wasn't on the skids as far as we'd concerned, because we wouldn't put out an album that we considered to be substandard, or we wouldn't put out a record that we considered to be not good enough. And the simple fact was that neither of the record companies were getting behind it, because they didn't know how to sell it, and didn't know how to make people aware of us, because we weren't touring around and were reluctant video stars.
That's
and
true.
It's true.
Yeah.
And it was a tricky period for us, because Geffen were trying to give us away because we weren't selling any albums. Virgin were thinking of giving us away, but Geffen didn't want us. It was kind of we were nearly back to gardening and van driving and poster painting. And then Dear God came along, and Yes, dear God, there is one. Thank you. All right. There's another song for you on our next album. Someone up there likes me.
Now, Skylarking was recorded with Todd Rundgren. How did you run across Todd Rundgren? And I know you
in a large vehicle that weighed about 5 tons, and then I backed up and had another go.
You'd like to do that, I know, but how did you meet him? I heard that you met him here in Chicago.
Yes, that's right. We did. We met him at the Park West, in the dressing room of the Park West.
He was just lurking around somewhere?
He was apparently he played.
our bread.
He just done a show with Utopia somewhere else in the city, and he came along to.
Beer, like.
Yeah, that's right. I think the band must have drunk all his beer because he came along and caught the last 10 minutes of our set.
Well, why don't we hear something from one of your albums right now, and then we'll come back and talk and hear some more live music here on WXRT. Begins at the hop from Drums and Wires here on WXRT and XTC. Andy Partridge, Colin Moulding, and Dave Gregory are with me live in the studio with some guitars.
Or from the album Drugs and Wires, as a recent Canadian interviewer asked us, tell me, Andy, why did you call the album Drugs and Wires?
Well, people can pick up that connotation thanks to your Dukes of Stratosphere record.
What with that and being called XTC? I mean, we don't even get a 10% cut in the sales of the drug. You know, it's ludicrous.
Can we talk about life in Swindon?
I'd rather not, actually.
No?
No.
Give a taste of Swindon to Chicago?
Oh,
what that was like growing up?
Well, it was like growing up. Well, Colin and I lived growing up on council estates, which are like, you know, government housing projects, which were kind of, you know, rough and ready, and lots of inbreeding going on, and it's funny. All these families had ginger kids. No one was figure out who was responsible. And Dave lived out of town, in a village out of the town. And I actually used to go and see Dave playing at local church youth clubs and stuff with his band Pink Warmth, which is possibly the first time they've ever been mentioned in Chicago.
I think it's the first.
And what was your band, Helium Kids?
No, that was a little later. But even before I could play the guitar, arf arf, he said, even before I could play the guitar, I used to go and see Dave playing in Pink Warmth, and there was this skinny kid there with a paisley shirt and his fringe sticking in his eyes, you know, with acne drooping all over the place, cranking out these Jimi Hendrix numbers. And I thought, gosh, I'd like to grow up and join the Air Force, you know, after seeing that. No, I never ever thought one day he'd be hurting my ears. It's a strange old world, isn't it, Gov?
Business.
Colin, now you grew up with this guy. What was he like as a kid?
Oh, mad, absolutely.
Yeah?
Still is.
Yeah, obviously. That's pretty obvious.
Clinically insane.
In need of a certificate?
No,
I think I'm the sagest person on the planet. What?
I first met Andy. I didn't actually meet him. I actually saw him drawing caricatures of the teachers at school. There was a big crowd gathering in the playground, like, you know, and went and see what the action was all about. And it was him drawing caricatures of all the teachers.
Did you get in trouble for that?
No, I'd get in trouble if I didn't do it. It was a sort of great bullying, waylaying tactic. You know, don't beat me up. I'll draw a picture. You know, I
thought the English teachers were the ones that did the beating up.
Oh no, I really felt sorry for the English teachers. I think more English teachers had nervous breakdowns in our school, and you know, more teachers kind of went off their nut, as it were. The kids are so cruel. I mean, you know, you're an ex-kid.
Yeah.
Kids can be really cruel.
Now, what are your how have your goals changed from when you were teenagers to what you're doing now? I mean, obviously success is something that you probably strived for when you were a kid, but it's probably taking on a different meaning now since you don't tour.
It's taken on a very different meaning. I mean, the chap of 19 stood on the stage there in his gold fur trousers with a tiger tail, lipstick and long hair in the Helium Kids, you know, just wanted to be able to drive Rolls Royces into swimming pools and stuff like that. But the frumpy old dad of 35 sat here is not interested in anything slightly rock and roll. I mean, rock and roll is nothing to do with this band. It is not related in any way, shape or form to this group. We are some sort of unusual entity unto ourselves. I just want to write songs and play my guitar and be left alone. I don't want any Danes stood with their rucksacks peering over my hedge, thank you. And they told me if I came here, I'd sleep on your floor. You know, I'm not into this. I'm not into fame and recognition. Forget it. As long as I got enough cash to buy the kids some new shoes and and be able to crank up the guitar and enjoy myself. That's what it's about.
Well, why don't you guys just do just that?
Well, you can't really crank an acoustic.
Well, you can certainly bang on it.
It's a number 11 all the way through. I haven't found the control knob on here. You'd make it quieter by taking a chisel to it, I think. But, we were thinking of tuning up. We were thinking of playing you a song that we haven't recorded yet, and when you hear it, you'll know why. It's a song called Blue Beret, a philosophy of not much in particular. Here we go.
Life is sometimes shorter than you think, so take yourself a hike from the kitchen sink. Me, I like to roam, wasn't built in a day. Off. Come on, get your hats off. Yeah, get your hats off. Get your hats off to the blue beret. Blue beret. Blue beret. The wind just took it off his head and sent it spinning straight to nowhere. Nowhere to get ahead in this life. Life is sometimes sentence for the crime, especially if you're guilty of killing time. For me, I like to think while you other fish swim, the sharks made their meal out of him. Meanwhile, on bone dry land, some people are dying for the right to say what the right to say. Some people are dying 'cause the other people's busy blowing them away, blowing them away. Well, me, I'm dying, so I wanna have a ton of fun along the way. Get your hats off. Come on, get your hats off. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get your hats off. Oh, get your hats off like the blue beret. Blue beret. The wind just blew it off his head and sent it turning straight to nowhere. Nowhere to get ahead in this life. So don't kick your dog, be good to your wife. Put down that knife, watch out the windows and blow your heads away.
All right. Blue Beret, an unrecorded number,
Yes, unrecorded, still whimpering there in the cupboard somewhere.
but waiting in the shadows, lurking. Do you keep a lot of songs in the backlog?
I
or
keep
do you-
them under the cat's tray.
You do?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a fine place for them.
He puts a few extra dots on the music that I find kind of rewarding when we try it out later on.
But do you keep songs in storage and pull them out and record them?
sometimes, very rare. That's one of them because I have an itch to I have an itch to record that. All these dirty minds in here. Yes, I have an itch to record that, which we may do sometime in the future.
Okay.
But normally, you kind of the challenge is to write better things, and so you pass on, hopefully, up to a higher level of song awareness.
Did you
blah,
ever
blah.
like to write songs when you were on the road?
No, never. And you can tell the bands that do it as well. Okay, lads, all round the swimming pools, lyrics night tonight. I got the coke. I actually heard that in Los Angeles. There was a British heavy metal band staying at the apartments where we were. They all got round the pool on Friday nights to write the lyrics. Can you imagine what they're going to sound like, eh? Bloody hell.
You get a real slice of life when you're doing that, don't
Well,
you?
you do, you know, it all goes in these great big holes on top of your head called eyes.
We'll get back. We have to do a commercial break, and we'll get back to talking and hearing from XTC. Live with XTC and some acoustic guitars.
Our show has the blues this evening.
You're in Chicago.
Well, you know, we thought we'd get bluesy.
Okay. Well, get whatever. We're ready to hear you play again.
Get smart. Oh, who remembers way back when? About 1880 something? Actually, I must point out that the first words in this song are absolutely, totally erroneous. It states that there is dairy produce whirling around in the upper atmosphere. And it's totally untrue.
Hey, hey, the clouds are away. The straw for the donkeys and the innocents can all sleep safely. All sleep safely. My, son is pie. There's fodder for the cannons and the guilty ones can all sleep safely. All sleep safely. In all
Yeah, XTC.
If you know the missing line, write in on the back of a $50 bill and you can win a night of illicit sex with Dave Gregory.
Oh, no, you can't.
I know the missing line, that's the problem.
Well, it sounded fine to these ears and the people that were listening here. From the middle period of XTCs.
Aye, from around about the torso, around about the dirty bits, around the middle. The buttocks and things. Can I say that on this?
Yeah,
this
yeah.
station?
Bullocks and buttocks are acceptable terms. but-
Buttocks. Yeah. You make it sound really quaint there, buttocks. It's like some sort of ointment, you know.
It is. Or you use ointment on it. But let's not get deeper into this subject here. Ho.
Oh, this just gets
Can we
better
talk?
and better.
Can we talk a little bit about your not touring and how that came about?
Yeah, if you like, I'm struggling like an idiot to put a capo on the guitar. A filthy little device. It's been known to save marriages. Hang on, here we go.
The decision to not tour.
An incision, not to tour. Yeah, basically, my excuse is, Your Honour, we did too much of it and it was driving me crazy, and so I thought, this has stopped becoming fun. I think I'm going to go and do something that's fun. And at the time, it was called not touring. And I'm glad we did, because I think the band would have sort of exploded and, you know, and sort of sad tales. I'm glad we did, because the music got a lot better. I'm happier, and I don't sit with my feet in the sand tray anymore.
But when you came down with that decision and told the other two guys, what was your reaction to it?
well, after we finished fighting with very long jungle knives,
Well, I think if it hadn't been Andy, it would have been me or Dave. You know, something had to give. You know,
Really?
the way we used to tour.
yeah, Dave wanted to join the Bolshoi Ballet, but we...
What kind of
talked about
insane
it.
tours were you on?
Well, you know, we'd just go everywhere. They'd say, you know, go and do a tour of working men's clubs in the Australian outback. So there we were, you know, thousands of miles from anywhere in a steel town, selling second-hand furniture before we're doing the gig, you know. Go on, mates, read this out. I've got this out for sale. What are you, cabaret or something? Read this out. Go on, it's a sofa. It's in good nick. You know, and I thought, what the hell are we doing here? And then we'd get back from that tour and they'd say, yes, go to Venezuela. They want you down there. So we'd go down to Venezuela, you know, and they'd book us in a huge stadium. Of course, nobody had turned up because nobody knew who the hell we were. And they were like, you know, 500 riot police and 25 audience. And so there's a murder, you know.
Did the stage actually collapse on you in Paris?
No, it's totally... that's one for the rumours box.
That is.
That's
Yeah.
great. Well, we had
Stage and collapse are in the wrong order.
Yeah, we had he likes to wear armour. This is I'm talking about people's.
Well, these are the
he likes
Andy
to wear
Partridge
armour
rumors?
at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Scurrilous rumours.
There's scurrilous rumours.
Oh,
but he
great.
likes to wear armour when he's at home. That's not totally true. He's got a collection of more than 20 bicycles. That's not totally true.
Slight exaggeration.
I was in a lunatic asylum. I was dead. There was even some station in the Midwest played an obituary show. They played reverentially a lot of XTC tracks with no speech between them and announced I was dead.
Wow.
And it was a real shock because I met somebody who'd heard this obituary show and they went white, you know, when I met them.
Wow. They're making you out to be the modern-day Sid Barrett or something.
Yes, right. Well, it's not fair because I'm not as good as Sid. Look, talk to the fabulously gifted Colin Moulding while I tune this horrible hunk of wood up.
Well, Colin, what have you got to say for yourself now that you can get a word in edgewise?
What questions have you got to ask me?
How about, you know, this album, Oranges and Lemons? It seems quite childlike. The title is taken from an old nursery rhyme, right?
Yeah, well, sort of, yeah. I think it's more of a vehicle for the use of the pop art sleeve, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I think groups sort of think up titles and then try and explain what they're about afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Oranges and Lemons just was a convenient title to put 15 songs, which were totally unrelated, under one umbrella. So, you know, you've got to call it something.
But it's a real positive.
It's optimistic and positive and
and quite
very
childlike.
citrusy,
It
I
sounds
guess.
it's got a very childlike quality to it, to my ears.
the songs are quite, I don't know.
Childlike ears.
Yeah.
They're
small. They're small.
They're more holes, actually, than
Yeah.
ears.
Like gills.
I do.
I guess
part
there's something in
fish.
it for everybody. You know, there's something. A lot of people have said that Oranges and Lemons is probably, if you haven't heard of XTC, then Oranges and Lemons is like the XTC sampler. You know, it's like bits and bobs from all.
Did you guys
all
see
of our
that letter
albums.
in Rolling Stone magazine? Some some guy wrote
A
in that,
Rolling Stone reader can write?
yeah, he wrote in that he went and bought a copy of the record on the strength of the review they gave the album, and he said, "Thanks, now I'm out $15 or something like that."
Oh, well.
Real tasteful.
Yes, we need those sort of fans.
What we need is another song, if you're ready.
Take it away.
Okay, this just about wraps it up. This is called King for a Day.
2, 3.
Everyone's creeping up to the money god, putting tongues where they didn't ought to be, stepping stones of human hearts and souls into the land of nothing for free, while the way that we're living is no taking, no giving. There's nothing to believe in. The loudest mouth will hail the newfound way to be king for a day. Everyone's licking up to the new kingpin, trying to get way up with a smile. Cynthia Tucker boy, I jump to a finger click. In my way of living in style, 'cause the ladder gets longer and ambition gets stronger. I can't satisfy the hunger. That bad old moon has got you in its way to be king for a day. You're only here once, so you gotta get it right. No time to fuss and fight, 'cause life don't mean much if measured out with someone else's time. The way that we're living is no taking, no giving. There's not much to believe in. The loudest mouth will hail the newfound way to be king for a day. You've got to be the kingpin to be the top dog, to be king for a day. That old moon has got you in its way to be king for a day.
Okay, XTC from the new album, Oranges and Lemons, here in the studio with us live. You know, before we let you get out of here, and we really wouldn't like you to stay longer if you got no plans, but I'm sure you'll never get out of the parking lot alive because there'll be plenty of people.
Plenty of musicians out there with tuning forks.
No, they have tapes.
Senseless.
They have tapes they want to give you.
Yeah.
Hi, we think you're really great. This is my band. I listen to your music. You should listen to mine.
Yeah, we've got a few of those.
But we'd love to hear you play Mayor of Simpleton if you.
I bet you would.
Yeah.
But now I have the capo on my guitar. And you're going to be witness to this fact. The band of the Queen's Own Mass Donovan's here.
Never been to university, never took a paper or a learning degree. Some of your friends think that's stupid of me, but it's nothing that I care about. Well, I don't know how to tell the way to the sun, and a mathematics what I want to know, and I may be the mayor of Simpleton, but I know one thing that that's silent. Yeah. When their logic grows cold and the thinking gets done, you'll be warm in the arms of the man of simpleton. I can't have been there when brains were handed round. Please be upstanding for the man of simpleton, or get past the cover of your book's profound. Please be upstanding for the man of simpleton. Some of your friends think it's really unsound that you're even seen talking to me. Well, I don't know how to write a big hit song, and old crossword puzzles will I just join. And I may be the mayor of simpleton, but I know one thing, and that's I love. I'm not proud of the fact that I never learned much, just feel I should say what you get is all real. I can't put on an act, it takes brains to do it. And I can't unravel rhythm problems and puns out of home computer you'll run. And I may be the mayor of simpleton, but I know one thing, and that's I love you. If that's all feeling is a currency, please be upstanding for the mayor of simpleton. And I'm the man who grew the money tree. No chain of office and no hope of getting one. And some of your friends are too afraid to see that they're paupers, and that's how they'll stay. Well, I don't know how many pounds make up a ton of all them Nobel Prizes that I've never won. And I may be the mayor of simpleton, but I know one thing, and that's I love. When their logic grows cold and all thinking gets done, you'll be warm in the arms of the mayor of simpleton. You'll be warm in the arms of the mayor of simpleton. You'll be warm in the arms of the mayor. Please be upstanding for the mayor of simpleton.
One final one. XTC here in the studio.